Ghost, we are live. Week 18, the final regular season week of the season. I believe we got 13 games. I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 of them should be competitive with starters. You don't really know. Not a whole lot of teams have said a whole lot. We know Burrow's not going to play. Rodgers will probably play a drive or two, maybe a quarter, maybe 2. I don't know. That's kind of where we're at with week 18. So just overall theory, I usually play a lot of lineups. I'm a 150 guy, and then I play a lot of high dollar single entry. This week, I'm pretty much playing all high dollar single entry, and I'm kind of staying with a very, very, very condensed player pool. Overall, I'm trying to find teams that have something to play for, or teams will not let off the gas, whether they're playing for something or not. And I mean, you could just go through this slate and kind of piece together all the pieces. I know there's a lot of incentives out there as well. Is that something you look for a lot? Like, instead, like, do you think Cooper Kupp is gonna, like, they're not going to jeopardize winning the game to get Cooper Kupp 13 catches, but with San Fran's secondary and how many injuries there are, COVID, whatever's going on out there, they certainly can correlate. But like, is that something that you really want to invest in? Are these incentives or no?
To a certain extent, like I don't want to go all in on them. If it's something that is achievable in a single game without jeopardizing playoff scenarios, then it's something that I'll strongly consider. But if you take a look, for example, like we'll talk about it game by game because I have a lot of them written down there just in case. But like AJ Green can definitely hit a $250,000 incentive based on 58 yards, but to get 10 catches to get another $250,000, it's at that point where can AJ Green catch 10 balls in a football game? I mean, yeah, he's done it throughout his career at any time, but like, are they really going to force feed him the ball that much to potentially jeopardize their playoff run just to get him? You know what I mean? Like, that's where the 58 yards is certainly doable without jeopardizing playoff scenarios. It's something that I'll consider, but I'm not going overboard, especially with the seasons that we've had over the past couple of years with short off seasons and players being in and out. I'm not going overboard on it this year. There are a couple that I've written down though.
Yeah, right on. And also, there is some weather out there today. I think Pitt and Baltimore is going to be like freezing rain, windy.
Yeah.
Cincinnati and Cleveland, I doubt you guys are going to play anybody in that game. Maybe Cleveland's defense, I guess, is the chalk of the chalk right now going against Brandon Allen. Brandon Allen won me like $150,000.
I was about to say,
yeah, I was like,
he won you so
I
much
went
money
all in
last
on
year.
him. Tried telling you guys on the stream that was my guy last year. I think it was at Houston, and we just stacked up that game at 0% ownership, and it was awesome. So shout out to Brandon Allen. Thank you. And the Jets at Buffalo. I think it's super, super windy there. Probably pretty cold, I'm assuming, in Buffalo. So those are the three. Pitt, Baltimore, Cincy, Cleveland, New York, and Buffalo seem to have the worst weather. And then shout out to everybody last week who absolutely crushed it. We had so many screenshots, so many 4-digit screenshots. I think we even had a 5-digit screenshot last week. So absolutely love to see it.
Week.
Yeah, hell yeah. Let's go. People that we see in the chat asking questions in Discord all the time. And like, more importantly, you guys trust yourselves. We didn't build those lineups for you. A lot of you guys just had really good theories in your build and played a lot of Jamar Chase, which you probably got from our show last week, or you just went after articles, or you just love Jamar Chase. Either way, it was a great day to invest in KC and Cincinnati last week, and that was all Ghost and I kept talking about, was how everybody was going to that Rams game, and there was no ownership. Yeah, no ownership going to the LSU stack out there. But let's kick it off. Cincinnati and Cleveland. Do you want to talk about anybody besides Cleveland's defense? I mean, they're probably just the auto lock and cash games. And other than that, like, I don't see much appeal to them in GPP. I don't think Brandon Allen's that bad, but you have no idea who's going to play wide receiver. But this game's just going to be such a low total. I don't see a ton of turnovers and anything like that. They're probably just going to run the clock down, especially with that weather we just talked about. Yeah, Jimmy had 2.5K. Let's go. Yeah. Shout out to Jimmy. Love you, Jimmy. And Brian, you crushed it too. So everybody just smashed last week. That's good to see. I went all in on Ronald Jones, so I did not smash.
That was that was an interesting week for the chalk running backs, that's for sure. But in this game, I know a lot of people are considering P. Ryan. I'm out on this one altogether. If you want to get cute, the Bengals are likely sitting every single player that's going to see the field for them in the playoffs. So I know they have even a surprisingly good wide receiver cast outside of Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd. If you want to flirt with one of those guys, I mean, you could certainly do a lot worse. They're all priced accordingly as punts on DraftKings. If it lets you get some high-end studs that I will be playing, then you can go for it. But all in all, I'm likely fading this game altogether.
Yeah, same here. I just think there's so many other good opportunities, higher totals. Sure, you could play some AJP around good value there, but I don't know. We'll probably see Chris Evans a lot too. So I just don't really want to mess with it. But if I had to choose someone from that game, it would be some AJP run probably, or Cleveland D. Moving on to the next one. So it seems like the public is taking on your stack the Titans after Thanksgiving, but there's no Derrick Henry. Ryan Tannehill over 10% ownership. I thought he'd be like 1 or 2. That was going to be one of my favorite GBP plays, is to leverage off of Donta Foreman, who's going to be very popular. But Foreman's in a really, really good spot. They did cut Jeremy McNichols, so it should be, all the carries go to Foreman, a little third down work to Dontrell Hilliard. But other than that, goal line work's all going to be Foreman. Should get a couple more catches too, or at least targets in the passing game. I have no interest in Rex Burkhead, David Johnson. I think Jordan Wilkins was also signed by Tennessee. He's not going to play much this week, if at all. But yeah, Rex Burkhead kind of been running a hot streak right now. I doubt David Johnson takes much of his work, but really, do we need to talk about Rex Burkhead very much? I don't think so. But AJ Brown and Brandon Cooks, is there a better 1-2, back and forth wide receiver combo than those two this week? Because slot receivers against the Titans are 80 miles number one play, and Brandon Cook has been playing the slot a ton. And they're going to be chasing points. 10-point dog here.
A lot. The line's actually moving in favor of Tennessee on top of that. Yeah, as we speak. So look, it kind of shifted the landscape where we usually stack the Titans after Thanksgiving and you get Tannehill with Derrick Henry and AJ Brown, but we'll be able to do that in the playoffs. Derrick Henry looks like he's going to be ready to go, so I'm really looking forward to that. But with the Chiefs winning yesterday, that's what shifted everything for this slate, is that Tennessee needs to win this game to hold on to the 1 seed, right? So yes, they're 11-point favorites, but at the same time, they need to absolutely smash Houston to be able to lock in that 1 seed, right? So they certainly do have something to play for this week. There are a few teams that do, but Tennessee is one of the teams that really does. So I'm loading up on the Titans. I'm okay playing Tannehill with just Foreman also. If you think that Tannehill really spreads out the ball, and
it's going to AJ Brown. If you play,
it's going to AJ.
You have to play.
It's going to AJ, right? So that for me is my go-to stack. It's Tannehill, AJ Brown, and I can't play Derrick Henry, so I'm playing Donta Foreman. But I'm playing all three of them together because I don't know if there's going to be a team that puts up as many points as Tennessee this week on this main slate.
Yeah, they do have a very high implied team total, 27 points pretty much right now as the line just moves. I think the only other team with one that high would be Arizona, and Tampa Bay is pretty close. I think Ryan Tannehill now, if he's going to be 10% plus owned, I think he enters fade territory for me. He's only got a passing prop of right around 220 yards, if not under, throughout the market. 80's got him for 226, so I'm a little bit higher on Tannehill this week, but again, I talked about it last week. The importance, if they're not a runner, which certainly Tannehill could be considered a runner, he's got very high, red zone equity with his legs. He does score a lot of touchdowns that way. But I want that 3-point bonus because it's just such a cheat code in DraftKings. I want to find guys that can get to 300. He just doesn't check that box for me and doesn't even get close, especially when the player, even if I had him like projected for 250 and I go to the market and see that Tannehill's projected for 215 to 218, somewhere in that range. That's just, I don't know. If he doesn't run for a touchdown or doesn't throw for 3-4 touchdowns, can he really compete with guys on this slate like Kyler Murray? I know Brian's really into Huntley. I get it at that price. Taysom Hill, Josh Allen doesn't scare me as much with this weather, but Matt Stafford, Russell, and Kyler, like, can Tannehill compete with those guys without running for a touchdown? I guess that's kind of where I'm at, because if the answer is no, I don't think I'm going to play Tannehill in GPP anymore, because I'm not just going to rely on a rushing touchdown to get the ceiling that the field is going to probably have with guys like Brady. I'm not into Huntley, but I get it. Taysom Hill, Josh Allen, Stafford, and Kyler and Russ.
Yeah, especially with the fact that there are some elite quarterbacks that are going to play the full game this week. So that for me is, we say it every week, where we can't afford to not necessarily punt quarterback, but you can't afford to get it wrong on the year's biggest slate. Every team's on the slate. So for me, it's I don't know if I'm gonna land there right now. If the rostership keeps going up, I'm likely just going Foreman, who's playing Houston, by the way, who cut him. So if you want a little revenge scenario, down to Foreman.
Always. And he's a 2.5 down back with red zone equity on a team with the highest
Absolutely.
implied team total as against under 6K. I guess that's probably my main thing.
And
Is
they're
yeah,
they're
he's gonna
gonna
be
be up the
popular,
whole
but he's
game.
valuable.
They're gonna be up the whole game.
Yeah,
The
and
one
Houston's
thing I
good
will say
against the
about
run.
AJ Bronte, like, look, we know he's gonna get we know he's getting all the targets that he can handle, but at the same time, they cannot afford to lose him for the playoffs. If they can win this game on the ground, they will do it, and I think they can. That's the
That's a
only
great
thing.
point.
That's the
Yeah.
only thing is that, like, similarly to what we were saying with player incentives, you can't blow out Houston by 35 and then not have AJ Brown for your first playoff matchup. Granted, when they win this game, they'll get a bye, but still, you can't afford to do that. They need the bye, give Derrick Henry an extra week of rest, get AJ Brown an extra week of rest. Like, it's a really big game for Tennessee, and I do think that they'll be able to get it done on the ground. And you're likely even a decent amount of carries for Hilliard also, but Foreman's going to see 25 plus touches in this game. There's no way that they can't beat them on the ground.
Yep, I'm with it. I think as of now, my Tannehill love is officially gone. So I know he's in the article, but if you're listening to this, I'm out because if you're playing him in GPPs, you're going to need him to rush for a touchdown, which is certainly possible, but something I'm not going to bank on, especially on this big of a slate. Moving on to Green Bay and Detroit. Would you like to move on even further?
Yes.
Yeah, Rodgers probably
Just
not going to play much.
One thing I'll add is because I saw it in Discord, some people playing Devontae Adams, and like, guys, you don't know if they're playing a quarter. Like, I understand the situation with what happened with Dallas yesterday was a little frustrating for some because we didn't know that Dak was going to go for 305 and play nearly the entire game in a meaningless game.
I certainly didn't.
But like that, like, you can't predict things like that. And right now, there is absolutely no reason for the Packers to play anybody more than a drive or two because the buy is all the buy is great. If you don't have Devontae Adams in that first playoff matchup, you're absolutely cooked. So for me, it's if you want to pivot to on it, like, again, Gross's position in all of fantasy football shouldn't even be a position in fantasy football, but Lions D is almost stone cold minimum on DK.
That's a good question here. Yeah, I'm playing Lions D almost everywhere. But yeah, I'm sitting Jamar Chase for Brandon Cooks. Even if you go look at the props, Jamar Chase's props are like 35 to 44 yards, I think is the highest. And most books aren't even offering them because they don't know how to handicap these games either. So find the ones that Vegas has a good lean on, like a full slate of props and everything. And that's like, okay, that's a normal game. Let's go. But yeah, Brandon Cooks for me for sure. Yeah, Detroit defense. Honestly, they're probably my defense in almost all of them, and I hate it because Rodgers will play a couple drives, and I'm sure he'll just march down the field. But yeah, I'm on Ross St. Brown. I get it if you want to go there. Detroit's going to play. They're going to play to win. That's just what Dan Campbell does, and this team seems to play very hard for him. But I have no interest in these prices on anybody. I'm not playing the running back carousel in Detroit. I know a lot of guys loved Swift last week, and I was very nervous about that. So again, same situation. I don't know how to handicap the running back situation. There's no reason to go crazy on Swift because he is their guy moving forward. They need to evaluate these other guys. Whether or not they do, that's another thing. But again, when we're investing our own money that, we go to work for every day, I'm not going to invest it in a running back carousel that I just certainly have no read on whatsoever.
Not in a week 18 matchup where there's absolutely no upside for them running DeAndre Swift 20 plus times today. The Lions get nothing out of that.
Here is a team with the highest implied team total, actually. The Indianapolis Colts at Jacksonville. Colts have a 29, in some books, 29.5 point implied team total. Jonathan Taylor's probably going to run absolutely wild today. I think in cash, you probably need to make the decision if you're going with Jonathan Taylor or Kupp. You could maybe get there if you punt quarterback down like Huntley, like Brian said earlier. That's probably as low as I'll go at the quarterback position, especially now with Jimmy G starting. So we don't have the Trey Lance free square this week. But do you have any interest in Taylor? I mean, obviously, I'm sure you do. It's a pretty easy stance to take, but I think my lean here, just because I can't afford Jonathan Taylor because my main lineup right now does have Stafford and does have Cooper Kupp, I'm playing Michael Pittman because I do want to touch or check the box of the highest implied team total in my roster. And anything Pittman does in the red zone would be perfect leverage off of Jonathan Taylor. It's not like Taylor's going to be 30% owned, so it's not like huge leverage by any means, but I want to make sure that my lineup has something to do with a Colts premier player, and that's Michael Pittman or Jonathan Taylor. So right now, my main lineup does have Pittman, and between you and I'm running it back with either Laquan Treadwell or Marvin Jones because, again, same reason we loved Zay Jones last week. I always love to focus on the outside of the Indianapolis Colts secondary, and that is Laquan Treadwell and Marvin Jones. It's probably safer to play Treadwell, but the upside, I'm just a Marvin Jones guy. I've always loved him since Hard Knocks.
There's a huge incentive coming his way too.
That as well, and the red zone targets go to Marvin Jones, and he's $100 cheaper. So they're pretty much the same guy today. And so, yeah, I'm having a mini stack of Michael Pittman and Marvin Jones in my main lineup. And
I have the same player pool for this one. I am going Cup over JT this week.
I guess maybe make two lineups. If you're into Jonathan Taylor and Cooper Kupp as much as we are, the whole field's going to be, they're probably the two best plays on this slate. Maybe make one that has narrative with Taylor going nuts, maybe pair him with Indy's D, and then do another one with Cooper Kupp. But for me, my Cooper Kupp narrative is the whole Rams passing game goes off because Stafford's under 5% owned right now. So we'll get to that game. I'm excited.
That's my quarterback also.
He sucks right now, too, so it's a little bit nerve-wracking. Any other thoughts, though? Is there any sneaky play? Like, I'm not touching Visca. I'm not touching any of these tight ends. Colts defense, I absolutely love if you can get to them. I prefer defenses to be at home, but, dude, Trevor Lawrence takes 10-yard sack after 10-yard sack after 10-yard sack and then throws picks all the time. So I think the Colts defense is 100% healthy. Darius Leonard should be there as well. He'll probably have 2.5 sacks himself. That's about it for me. I have no interest in Daryl Gumbawale, anything like that we're missing here. Is it just kind of Treadwell, Marvin Jones, and then Pittman Taylor?
Yeah, that's about it. I mean,
if is he sneaky? Or is it? I guess
he's gonna be.
Question. Sorry to cut you off. Go ahead. You go ahead. Fine.
No, same. I was about to say you pretty much covered Wentz when you covered Tannehill. It's the same.
Except Wentz doesn't run.
Exactly. So he just really can't. He can't move. Like he
Carson
can't
Wentz's
move.
Best game.
So that's the thing. So you end up looking like, does he really need to throw for 303 for them to beat the Jags? If they do, they have bigger problems heading into the playoffs. But like that's where for me, and then other guys, the tight end carousel is real dicey between Jack Doyle and Mo Alley Cox, and then T.Y. Hilton might catch a deep ball, or he might get you a 0. There's no in between. So I'm not going there. It's Pittman if you're not playing JT, and if you are playing JT, I wouldn't touch any other Colt because you need JT to outscore Cooper Kupp.
I'm with it. Yeah, that's a good point. It is Tannehill, except you don't even have the legs, so it's even worse situation. But he could throw for 3-4 touchdowns maybe if they're in the red zone that much. Washington and New York Giants. John Bates is the only guy I will play. He's going to be very popular. Probably should be your cash game tight end, especially if you are trying to get Jonathan Taylor and Cooper Kupp. But just know that's what the whole field's going to try to do, so get different somewhere else. And then Washington's defense, I guess. Is there anything appealing to you in this game?
I just don't know if I'm willing to take a shot on Patterson or not, because similarly to the situation with Swift, like what does the football team get out of this for running Antonio Gibson into the ground? They don't get anything out of that. So I'm debating Patterson, but they've already seen a lot of him where they know that he'll likely be on the roster next season.
Right.
So that's the only, because I do love attacking the Giants' run defense, but again, it's like you have to feel confident with every slot that you end up putting in your lineup today. And I don't know. Like I've seen that Antonio Gibson will play. We don't know how much. They said that Cowboys starters yesterday were barely playing and they dropped 50 plus. Like it's just that's the nature of the beast of this week, right? So would you take a shot on one of these Washington running backs against the Giants?
Nope. Same thing same as Detroit. They know Gibson's going to be on the team next year. Jared Patterson's probably going to be on the team next year. Sia is our Washington guy here.
Like, do you think they just go all out this week?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to play to win, absolutely. But, yeah, I'm just going John Bates. Again, it's a running back carousel. The team has a 21-point implied team total, so it's not terrible. But, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Gibson's going to play too, but it's Detroit all over again, in my opinion. Gibson being the Swift spot. So I would lean Patterson, but I have no idea. And when I do have ideas on other games, I'm just not going to invest unless I was playing 150 this week, and I'm not.
The only guy I'm taking a shot on in this game is Patterson. I have a couple just in case. Because I really do not think that they run Antonio Gibson into the ground. There's zero reason for them to do that. That's the only thing.
All right, let's get a quick question here. Huntley, Jonathan Taylor, Foreman, Kupp, Treadwell,
very
Bateman.
Low floor.
Can't play Bateman. Oh, Bateman, Hooper, P-Run, and Cash. I'm okay with P-Run maybe, but no, that's what happens when you go Taylor and Kupp. It's too tough. Yeah, I'm leaning Marvin Jones over Treadwell too, but yeah, I would revise that. That just seems tough.
You can play.
You want Brandon Cooks and Cash. He's gonna.
You can play two $10,000 guys on FanDuel and Cash. Kupp and JT are both $10,000. You can't do that.
That's why it's gross. Okay, I was like DraftKings. I know you can get a little bit better. I forgot that.
Yeah, no, you can't do that.
Chicago at Minnesota. Chicago getting 4.5 on the road here. They will play to win. I'm assuming this is Nagy's last game. I don't know what Minnesota is going to do. Dalvin Cook's props are through the absolute roof. So if you want to get different in GPPs, I mean, it makes a ton of sense. I don't know what to do with Zimmer. I'm not going to play this game very much. I do like David Montgomery, but he's priced up a little bit, but the guy gets so much work. So 6,800 on DraftKings is not too bad. Mooney and Allen Robinson, no thanks. I guess if I had to, it'd be Allen Robinson just because he's 2K less than Mooney. But yeah, I don't like this game. If Justin Fields was playing, I'd stack the Bears, but not doing that. Do you have any love for this game at all? I do like Dalvin Cook just because the props are so high. So he's got a full projection pretty much on 80 as well, and it's pretty juicy. Justin Jefferson is definitely safe to play, though, yes.
Yeah. I crossed this one off my board altogether just because you know where the production is going to the Minnesota offense, and that would mean you're not playing Cooper Kupp or Jonathan Taylor. And for me, it's just if you're doing that, you might as well get it to them. But if you're in a large field contest, it's definitely worth a shot to take. I'm just not taking it based on the contest that I play. So for me, I'm out on this game altogether. One thing I will say about Andy Dalton is that he's out here fighting for his life. So guy wants to stay in the league. He better put on a show today. That's the only thing. It's one thing to consider.
Yeah. No interest for me in that game, unfortunately, but there's
zero. I cross it off completely off my board because it's gross.
All right. Moving on to the next game. Pitt at Baltimore. One of the games we said has pretty brutal weather. I like Devonta Freeman a ton. I put him in the article, 5,200, should see 65% of the snaps. We will see a little bit of Lat Murray, but with this weather, I think that goes heavily in favor of Devonta Freeman. I guess Huntley's okay. I'm just not ever playing Huntley because we saw his ceiling game, and now everybody plays him. And last week, he didn't do a whole lot. He does do it with his legs, but I would imagine it's quite a stack box today with this weather, and I don't see, Mike Tomlin allowing them to break contain and let Huntley run over him. But yeah, this game's kind of gross to me, but I love Devonta Freeman at like 1% owned guy at 5,200. I think he offers a ton of GPP upside. He will be playing a lot. They have no reason to rest his legs or any of these guys' legs on Baltimore. I think it's almost impossible for them to make the playoffs. Deontay Johnson is going to go, but yeah, I don't know. This game's gross. The only guy I'm playing right now is Devonta Freeman. I'm playing a lot of them. I am going to have him in a lot of single entry. And what Brian said, I will never tell people not to play cash, and that's pretty much how I started in DFS, was playing only cash. I'm not playing any cash this week. I have 1 or 2 lineups, maybe 3 now that I'm as high as I am on Devonta Freeman, but I'm just playing my lineup in every single entry GPP I could play, and that's all I'm doing today. It's going to be a good day or a horrible day, and I'm okay with that because I just don't want to invest in cash lineups that really don't look good to me because I don't know where all the production is going to go today.
Yep, that's a good point. And especially with the main guys that you want to be jamming into lineups, you're already building GPP style lineups, so ends up being quite gross to enter that in cash. I would have loved the Ravens stack today, but this weather has been real nervous on it. I would have loved a Huntley Mark Andrews stack, but weather makes me nervous.
Yeah, no, I would love to do that too. Mark Andrews is Huntley's boy, but yeah, the weather, I don't know. If you guys don't care about weather, then keep running it. I mean, Huntley is very, very cheap. But what are your thoughts here on Trent's lineup? Cousins scares the hell out of me. But is he playing for anything? I don't know. I didn't look at Minnesota very
They're
much.
not. That's the thing. Like, you need to.
I love the rest of that lineup, though. What quarterback can you get in that price range? Oh, play Taysom Hill.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
What is he, 6K? 6,200. Yeah, find a way to get 100 extra bucks and play Taysom Hill in that lineup, and you're good to go. Maybe just drop the Browns to Lions, or something like that. Get Taysom Hill over Cousins, I think, and cash
Just go
is a lot
Browns
safer.
D to Lions D, and then go to Taysom Hill.
There you go. All right, where are we at here? Pittsburgh, Baltimore. Anything else for you there?
No, I would have made this my main stack. I would have loved the Huntley Mark Andrews stack, but the weather's taken me off it. So I'm cool with the Ravens run game. Just again, we gotta chase the touchdown upside. So if you think it's Freeman, go Freeman. And I do think it is Freeman this week. I'm in agreement with you.
Yeah, it's gross, but it's like in lineups that you can't afford. If you can go up to 57 and play Foreman, by all means, but I can't do it in every lineup. I'm not going to play Keyshawn Vaughn, so I'm going to Devonta Freeman when I need a punt running back, if you will. All right, what do we got next? Carolina and Tampa Bay, already at the afternoon games. I love Brady here. Brady's going to be under 5% owned. Mike Evans is going to be under 5% owned. And Gronk's going to be right around 5% owned. Stack those three. They're going to play. They have to play to win, right? I believe so. I mean, they're in the playoffs no matter what, but I think they have to play to get a home field advantage, I think.
Correct.
And they have no running game. Le'Veon Bell and Keyshawn Vaughn. Keyshawn Vaughn's going to be 20% owned. The easiest leverage in the world here is just jam in Bucks passing. Now I'm very interested in that. I did not think Keyshawn Vaughn would be that high, but you could play him in cash too on DraftKings. That's probably your punt running back at 5,300 in GPPs. I'm going to Devonta Freeman. But, so my main lineup is Stafford and Kupp. My second lineup in GPPs is the full-on stack with the Bucks passing game just to jam it down. Keyshawn Vaughn ownership right there. And Seal Grayson, I guess, I mean, he's a solid play. He's played 70% of the snaps, I think 65 and 70-something the last 2 weeks. So it makes sense. Tom Brady trusts him. Like, he's had 5+ targets in both games. So, Cyril Grayson at 4,400. I think you could even three-way stack, and I think my second lineup may even be that. Brady, Cyril, Evans, and Gronk. And then, I'm playing Brady's going for 400, gets close to that all-time passing yard. 428 for him to get there?
Yeah.
I'm doing it. Yeah, if no one's playing Gronk, I know Evans has an incentive, too, to get to 8 straight 1,000-yard games. Carolina's defense is not bad, but it seems like they just quit. I don't know. But, Brady, I think, is by far my number 2 GPP quarterback, if not number 1 with Stafford. My 1A and 1B, if you will.
It was 2 weeks ago that they faced these same Carolina Panthers, and I said I will have a total of 0 Gronk, and he was roughly 15 to 20% rostered in every one of my contests, and he went 1 catch for 23 yards, 3 DK. This week, I am shipping everything in the same matchup on Rob Gronkowski. He needs 85 yards and 3 touchdowns for a ton of money.
3 touchdowns. And Brady will feed him too.
Antonio Brown just publicly made whatever of himself by saying that if he was his boy, he'd get paid like Rob Gronkowski. There's that. Brady's going to stick it to everyone. He's feeding Gronkowski all day long in this matchup. And I think Gronk goes absolutely wild. And at the rostership that's there, for me, it's a no-brainer. And I do love Tom Brady this week a lot.
I think I don't know if it's my QB1 or my QB2. Then anybody on Carolina, run it back. I think DJ Moore makes the most sense, certainly.
Yeah.
But
I didn't even make a run back. I just double stacked Brady and called it a day. I don't
think you need a run back when the ownership is this low, too. No one's playing this game besides Keyshawn Vaughn. So
that's it. I just went double stack with Brady. I didn't even just go Brady Gronk. I went one of Grayson or Evans. That's it. I double stacked everywhere.
Can you triple stack it or no? Am I crazy for that?
Yeah, but I want Gronk to get his 3 touchdowns.
Okay. So no Cyril or no Evans for you.
No, Evans was tough for me to get. It was more Grace. Just point per dollar. I ended up going with the cheaper option there, but I don't think I have all
Mike
that
Evans
many.
is a 73-yard catch prop.
It's
like
huge.
That.
It's
I
huge.
like that.
I'm
playing Mike Evans. I'm playing the red zone equity. If I'm playing Brady, I want his boys. I'm playing them all.
But yeah, I don't think this is the week where you see a 1 yard Cam Brate touchdown. This is it. He's going to his boys. It's the last week of the season, and he's gonna load up the box score. So I do love a Tampa afternoon stack, and I don't even have a run back option. I don't need it. I think Tampa can drop 35 today. It's gonna be that kind of week.
All right, I love it. Moving on to New England at Miami. I have one play I like a ton in this game. He's sub 5% owned. 80 Mile absolutely loves slot receivers against Miami, and Nick Needham, Jacoby Myers. I think he's very safe at the 52 range. So a lot of my lineup, I'm just pretty much going to tell you what my lineup is, I guess, at this point, my Stafford line. It has Michael Pittman, Jacoby Myers, and Marvin Jones as the 3 wide receivers. Cup's going to be in the flex somewhere. But it's value wide receiver 1, so it's pretty much the theme of my lineup. Jacoby Myers fits that narrative of value wide receiver 1 at 52K, Michael Pittman 59K, and Marvin Jones, I guess, is like a 1B to Treadwell. I don't know. That whole situation is gross. It's more of a value, but all 3 of my wide receiver 1s are sub 5K, so they're sub 6K. So that's kind of where I'm at right now, but I love Jacoby Myers today, and that is it. I guess you could play Stevenson. We don't know the status on Damian Harris, but if Harris is out, I think Stevenson is an excellent late swap. So put someone in the flex you could swap out that's right around his price, because if Damian Harris is out, it should be a huge run for Ramondre Stevenson. You'll see a lot of Brandon Bolden too in the passing game. So Brandon Bolden even at 4K, if you have some gross punt or something like that later on, or you're playing the afternoon slate, I think Brandon Bolden's a nice little play there. But for Miami, not really interested in anything at their prices.
I'm playing Ramondre no matter what.
No matter what.
Even if Harris is in, I'm playing Ramondre.
Even if there's a fire?
Not even if there's a fire.
Not even. Yeah, I don't
no,
know.
like I'm waiting on that one. Obviously, it's gonna be a swap opportunity, but I do have Ramondre penciled into my main right now.
So this is why you keep your late guys in the flex. We always stress that. I'm sure every site out there, any community should stress that. But yeah, right now I haven't seen any props on the Patriots because I think everybody's waiting for this news on Damian Harris. Yep. So if anybody's out in Boston area and has the inside scoop, let us know. Let's hit a couple questions here. Well, do you have any love for Miami or no?
Zero.
Are you with me on Jacoby Myers or not on that? I'm fine if you're not.
I am.
I
also think that they're going to pound the ball. Yards. I also think that they're going to pound the ball today. But in the mid-range gets awfully gross. It gets awfully gross real quick this week. So I do like Jacoby there.
Yeah, I'm just looking for mid.
Keep an eye on it in pregame warm-ups though, because I know he was a little banged up.
Yeah, it's a thigh or something, but whatever. Yeah. Not worried about it. But again, you have late swap options. If you put him in the flex or something, you could go to somebody else. I guess he's too cheap, so he's not in price with Ramondre. But yeah, let's get a couple questions here. Hit Kenny. Stafford, Singletary, Stevenson, Kupp, Pittman, Cooks, Ertz, Foreman, Detroit. That's sexy as hell. You could fit that on FanDuel?
Yeah.
I got to get to FanDuel today. All right.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right, this is you.
For some reason, Devin Singletary just refuses to get priced up on FanDuel. So, yeah, that's perfect.
Run it.
Double stacking Stafford. I like it.
All right, here we go. RLS. GPP. Dish Kamara, Jacoby, and play Taysom naked again. I think if you do the second part, your ownership is going to be very, very high, and I'm okay with it. But I don't know. I like A.J. Brown a ton, but like his ceiling games are back and forth games. Like that San Francisco game, everybody was scoring. The game was kind of close.
Yep.
I don't see that happening. I like where you're at with Kamara and Jacoby. I love Alvin Kamara today. Even with Taysom, I'm fine with it. I think that New Orleans just lays it on them, and no one's playing Alvin Kamara. But that's a very good question. It would depend on the rest of your lineup, too. Like, are you different elsewhere? Because the AJB Cooks combo is going to be very popular. Or just play 2 lineups. Is that a cop-out? Can I just tell you to do the other one in another single entry? Because I like them both. All right. Josh Jacobs or Eli Mitchell? Jacobs against the Chargers. So can you play both? Questions are fucking hard, man. You guys are on good players, though.
I like Eli Mitchell this week, too.
Plays the Chargers run defense. Rex Burkhead went for 50 points.
Yeah, I know.
Whatever it was. See, I played him that day. All right. This is you.
I don't know. Dylan Pitt? I don't
know what Dylan Pitt is. Dylan Kyle Pitts? No. Yeah, rewrite that one. That was a little confusing.
Yeah, I was just
Stevenson Browns or Foreman Cardinals. I would still go Foreman and Browns because you could afford them both, can't you?
Yeah.
But,
I would go
I don't know. It all depends on what's going on with Stevenson. If you play Stevenson in the flex, worst case, I think on DraftKings at least, you could like pivot to Zach Ertz or something if you had to. Kyler Murray, lock on FanDuel?
No. Not a lot.
Nico season. Nico Collins, baby. All right. He's a comparable run back if you can't afford Cooks.
Brady's cheaper than Kyler on FanDuel. And if you want a cheaper version of Kyler Murray for fantasy purposes, they're not the same quarterback at all. Taysom's also almost $1,000 cheaper than Kyler. So I don't like using the word lock very often, and I would not designate it to Kyler Murray this week.
There you have it. All right. Talk about Dylan. Oh, the Packers? I think it's going to be Patrick Taylor.
We already talked about that.
Yeah, I don't think Dylan gets that. Like, Dylan's a huge part of that team. So I think it's going to be more Patrick Taylor. I think if you need a 4K punt, especially now that Aaron Jones is out, I think that kind of tells a hand for the Packers are not going to go very heavy on their starters. James Conner versus Seattle. Awesome spot. We'll get to that game, actually, I believe, in 2 games. So, yes. Stafford, Freeman, Mitchell, Kupp, Pittman, Marvin, Bates, Penny, Browns. Love it. I'm not really a Penny guy. I just think like the ceiling's got to drop eventually. But yeah, if you want to, the Cardinals certainly give up a lot of yards per carry, so you could certainly play Penny. It seems like he's getting a ton of run too. So yeah, let's go. Don't tell them what to do. Thank you, Michael. New Orleans at Atlanta. Taysom Hill's probably quarterback 3 for me on this slate. Again, Stafford, Brady, 1A, 1B. I guess and you guys know how much I hate Taysom Hill, but they're playing for all the marbles here today. I think Taysom Hill is sub 10% owned too. I think he's a perfect cash game quarterback. You know he's going to run for 40 yards. The arm game's been solid. He's got a good rapport going with Marquez Callaway. I hoped it was Deontay Harris last week. It was not. But what are your thoughts on this game? Kyle Pitts is questionable. If I'm playing Taysom Hill, I'm not playing Callaway. I don't really care for his price at 5K. I'd rather go to Marvin Jones at 4,400 or Nico Collins now at 3,900. As Sia said here, my boy Nico, this could be the game. Brian, I know you're listening. This could be the Nico 2 touchdown game. I'm putting him in my Brady lineup. Let's do it.
I just put him in my Brady lineup.
I may go double tight end with Brady. Is that gross or no? I may have 100%.
Gronk doesn't really count, so Gronk doesn't really count.
All right, I'm doing it. You guys can't talk me out of it now. All right.
I just put in Nico to run back.
Foreman.
Yeah, there so I got the mini stack.
It's Nico over Mark.
Yeah, that's exactly what I just did, Brian.
Yeah, I just did it. Bengals stack this weekend. Don't do it.
No.
They're probably not going to play very long. All right. What do we got here? What are your thoughts on? Yeah, we're at the Saints game. I love Alvin Kamara. I believe his ownership is right around like 5 to 8%, and Taysom Hill probably closer to 10, but sub 10%. And for Atlanta, I think this is an all right spot for Russell Gage. I think it's a really good run back. If you think this game goes up pace, you want to kind of pick on the inside of New Orleans secondary instead of the outside. Kyle Pitts is questionable. So maybe if he's out, Hayden Hurst would be a very, 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 very excellent value play. But other than that, I think you kind of know where we're leaning into on this slate. But do you like anything with Kamara or Taysom Hill?
Yeah, I like both of them, just not together.
I'm with it. I'm with Kamara here for sure.
Yeah, I like paying up for Alvin Kamara if you're not playing JT. That's about it. One of these Falcons wide receivers is going to go off. These games always shoot out. So if you are playing Kamara, if you're playing Taysom, you could play him naked. But if you're playing Kamara, you need a run back on the other side. This is one where I would force a run back in.
Yeah, Gage, the only guy for you.
Likely, yes.
Yeah, or Hurst. I guess if Kyle Pitts is out, I will have a ton of interest in Hurts. It just sucks that it's going to be late. So I don't know how you get there, but if you want to pivot off of John Bates, chalk, and GPP, I think Hayden Hurst would be awesome for that. But we just won't know the stats on Pitts anytime soon. But if any of you guys have Pitts news out of Atlanta, I know he's playing for the rookie record for the tight end, so I'm sure he's going to want to get out there, but who knows? New York Jets at Buffalo. I don't really like this game at all. Devin Singletary, I think, is probably a lock on FanDuel with his price on DraftKings. It's a good spot. He's certainly a double-digit home favorite here. I think they're favored by like 17.
Yeah, it's
but $6K for Devin Singletary. Zach Moss is active. I think Breda is active as well. Actually, Breda may be inactive now. So if Zach Moss is active, I'm not paying $6K for Singletary. In cash, certainly. In GPP, I'm not doing it. If he kills me, he kills me. I'm fine with that. I'm just not playing $6K for Devin Singletary ever.
Can't you see this being a Zach Moss game where it's ugly weather and just he pounds it in between the tackles?
Yeah, I mean Singletary grades out well too, but yeah, Zach Moss. I'm not playing either. So I'm
not playing either one of them. But like I can see this being a Zach Moss double-digit carry game where he's
the uncertainty of the running back carousels. Part 7 today.
Yeah. Yeah, I've lost track of how many we've spoken about, but yeah, I do think they get Zach Moss going here a little bit. They need him. They need him for the playoffs. They need him to be ready. They absolutely need him, and he's been MIA the last couple of weeks. So I think they feed him enough to take out of Singletary's ceiling.
I get it. If you guys like him, it's a really good spot. But again, he has been getting all the run lately. Maybe they kind of let him rest too, because it seems like he's their guy. But Devin Singletary has a rushing prop of 72 yards. Oh my God, I've never seen that. I don't know if he ever had an all-purpose yard prop of 72 yards. Maybe last week, but before that, before he's came on of late, no sir. Yeah, I may go under there too. I'm just fading that at 20%. I don't think Devin Singletary helps you win a GPP at that price. And cash again, certainly, but not for me. And then any other thoughts? You like Diggs? You like Beasley? I know there's value there. Gabe Davis here always. Yeah, I'm with you. I think if you want to play Stephon Diggs, 6 catches to get the record, and the player props at the books are at 6.5, of course. So maybe if you want to play Diggs, I would just go to the sports book and find a way to play his props. But if you like this game, I get it. They have the second highest implied team total on the slate. So do your thing. Again, yeah, perfect. It is the Jets. So it's the Jets.
Yeah, there's no reason for them to run anybody wild in this game.
Yeah, but if you were on Singletary prior to the show, stick with your gut. He's certainly in a great spot. Player props certainly support him. I'm not doing it at 20% ownership. Moving on to my favorite game of the day, San Fran at LA. Matt Stafford sub. I guess it's right around 5% ownership now.
Yeah.
Sony Michel, right around 20%. I think that's fine. It's just too cheap for a guy like Sony Michel at 6K. He's going to see the ball so much. I know Cam Akers is going to be active. He's not going to play that much. There's just no way. This is Michel's backfield. The same thing we saw when Henderson came back. It was all Michel. Eli Mitchell at 10% ownership on the other side. That's a guy that should see the ball 20-plus times, especially with Jimmy Garoppolo in. The red zone equity is great for Eli Mitchell. Deebo Samuel, an excellent play at 5% ownership. I think if you could find a way to get Stafford, Kupp, Deebo, or Stafford, Kupp, and George Kittle at 3% owned, oh my God, yeah, like this is your run back game, and because every run back for San Fran is low owned. So I don't know which way I prefer. I guess price-wise, like obviously I'm going to love Eli Mitchell, but I need to find a way to get to George Kittle in the Ram stack, especially with Jimmy Garoppolo back, and especially if his hands hurt and can't air the ball out very much. George Kittle should be his guy on those drag routes. Get 6-7 catches, 90 yards. We need a score or two, George, and we're in good shape.
That's
thoughts
my
on
main
this
right
game.
now. That's my main.
I like Odell too.
Is,
like, I'll actually, you know who my main tight end is this week? It's Tyler Higbee at 4K, because I'm playing the narrative of Stafford does it with his arm, and Tyler Higbee's way too cheap. But San Fran is great against the tight end, but 3 or 4 guys in their secondary out, so I'm not taking those stats into consideration too much.
I might end up switching it, but that's my main right now. Stafford, Kupp with Kittle on the way back.
Love that. Don't switch that.
The Niners win. They need to win this game.
So the Rams should be a fun game, and it's in the Dome. It's one of the few games that has a very positive passing atmosphere with no.
We need Stafford to get it together. We need him to get it together. That's the only thing.
I get it. If you're fading Stafford, I get it. He has sucked like the last month, but even when he sucks, he gets 18, 19, 20 points. So we can survive that if our run back of George Kittle or Eli Mitchell or Deebo Samuel go nuts, because no one's going to play those guys.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts? You like Mitchell, Michelle?
I like Mitchell a ton in this game. Changes the landscape of that offense when Jimmy G's under center. I'm not a Jimmy G guy. You guys know that, but I'm not playing him in fantasy. It's just the way that he runs an offense, being a pure game manager style quarterback. It's a big boost to George Kittle and to Eli Mitchell in that backfield. And the 49ers absolutely need this game a lot. That's actually my I think that's my heaviest bet of the week is 49ers plus 3.5.
I love it. I think they beat them 6 straight times too. So, Shanahan just knows how to prep for these guys.
Absolutely.
Any love for Ayuk, 1% owned, Odell Beckham, and Van, the touchdown man? Like if you're full on stake in this game,
I think
do you
it's
like
all
those guys?
Cup. I think it's all Cup. Like because of it
can't all be Cup though. Like the deep ball's not going to be the Cup. That's Odell Van.
The way that I took it is that, like I know that by playing Stafford, I can't double stack it. I double stack Brady, right? So it's fine. And I know that
stack them.
You can double stack Stafford, absolutely no issue with that whatsoever. But for me, it's that because it's a little bit different versus my Gronk touchdown scenario, right? So when I said I want Gronk to score 3 touchdowns for his bonuses and everything like that, guys like Grayson can still get there at 4,400. But if I'm paying nearly 10K for Kupp, I don't want anybody else to have ceiling games, right? Like I need Kupp to really outscore JT, Alvin Kamara, Dalvin Cook, like anybody else, right? So that was the narrative that, like, if anything, I'm double stacking him with Higbee. I'm not double stacking him with OBJ.
Okay.
That's
kind
the
of
approach that I would take.
I
would double stack with Higbee. Yeah, exactly. Because if even OBJ, like, okay, he could definitely stretch the field. We all know what OBJ has been capable of, but you need that classic 5-yard fade route OBJ touchdown, and at that point, that can just go to Higbee instead of OBJ, and I might as well take the savings. If I need that for the double stack to work, I might as well take the cheaper guy.
Sure,
that was the approach that I took.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do the same. Double tight end though sounds attractive.
You double tight end and you're stacking the same game. Like you go Kittle and Higbee.
I think the move here is take Van Jefferson over 39.5 receiving yards because the deep ball, they have to keep him honest with the deep ball. So I'm going with Van over whatever the best price you can get there is. All right. Any other thoughts?
You're taking his receiving prop?
Yeah, just over the yards because everything should be funneled to Kupp, but they need to stretch the field, and that's going to be Van Jefferson. So
what I'll do is I'll add to that, and I'll take Van longest reception prop instead of total yards. I'll take longest reception.
And it is
whichever is
I don't know if it's out there yet. Oh yeah, here it is.
whichever
18
is
and
the
a
better
half.
odds.
Yeah.
Longest reception.
Oh yeah, 18 and a half. Odell
I-
Beckham's longest reception's higher than Van Jefferson's. What? All right, sorry, we're getting crazy on the sports book here, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's obscene.
That's
Last
always my
games.
pivot. Like I do the same thing in NBA. Like sometimes there's someone that we like a player prop for, but all he does is shoot threes. Like you might as well take his threes prop. And it's the same thing with Van in this situation. If we like the over on his yards, we might as well take longest reception because we know that's how it's gonna hit.
If you had to if you had to prefer one, Kittle or Debo, price agnostic here. Not thinking about price. Just if they were both 6,600, who do you take?
That's really tough.
You could pass.
Probably Debo. I take
Debo,
Debo.
okay. That's fair. All right, last game.
Just because of like
Seattle.
surprisingly how many tight ends I like.
Yeah, no, I get it. Seattle at Arizona. And Kyler Murray is the highest owned quarterback on the slate. Probably
He's a
somewhere you
chalk of all
want to
chalk.
go for cash. I'm out on Kyler Murray. I get it. He doesn't run that much anymore, and I've never liked paying a premium for Kyler Murray without DeAndre Hopkins. Kyler Murray and Christian Kirk are going to be 45 to 50% aggregate owned. And Zach
That's so
Ertz is going to,
gross.
like, everybody is double stacking Kyler Murray. I think that is the easiest fade in the world. I may want one of them, but like Zach Ertz is probably my priority. Christian Kirk's a fine play, going against Ugo Amadi. We always talk about that. I think Kirk you definitely want in cash if you're not playing Kyler, or Ertz, you want one of those guys. But DK Metcalf, sub 5% owned all day. I want that, but I just don't like this game a whole lot.
I'd have to check the tiebreaker, but can the Cardinals even pass the Rams if they lose?
Yeah, I think if the Rams lose and the Cardinals win, yeah.
Because they
Not
both beat 12
positive
and
on
5.
that. That's a see a question. See ya.
They both beat 12 and
Need
5. So if anyone can confirm that, because that's not one of the scenarios that I wrote down there, but that would be the only reason to even play any Arizona guys. Like if they can't go up, they can't go down. Nobody behind them can catch them. And right now, the only way up is if the Rams lose and they win. So if they win the division, okay, they jump to it's really not all that much. So I don't know. It's not enough for me to justify the chalk at all. AJ Green's chasing a ton of incentives if you want a little leverage off Christian Kirk today. Needs 58 yards. The 10 catches, forget about it, but needs 58 yards for $250,000. And it looks like Wesley's really coming on strong here too. So for me, I'm completely out on Christian Kirk chalk. And that's about it.
Yeah, I don't love this game as much as the public. I think James Conner's in a great spot if he goes. Obviously, there's no Chase Evans behind him. But quick question for Derek here: Foreman or Sony in season
I'm
long?
going Foreman.
I would go Sony in PPR, Foreman in standard or half.
Yeah.
Um,
I can't justify the Cards chalk. Just like I understand the home playoff game, but I can't justify it.
Yeah, this would be the way to exactly see it.
It's not completely in their hands either. If you're playing that kind of narrative, you need a situation where it's win and you're in. You need to have control of your own destiny. And if you're loading up on Cards chalk saying, well, the Rams are going to lose, but that's not in the Cardinals' control. So for me, you could get a piece of this offense without playing Christian Kirk chalk. You can go Wesley or AJ Green. I think that both of those guys would be in my player pool.
Yeah, I'm with it. And see, it makes a great point here with how to stack Kyler and get different. I'm not a huge game. I don't know. I don't like that game with that much chalk. I'd rather go to Stafford. I'd rather go to Brady. But I certainly could die a slow death. I just don't want to feel like playing the nut chalk and GPPs is a way to go. But again, you get my thoughts on Kyler. I think he's a great play, certainly. But without D-Hop, I'm just never been in love with the guy since then. But let's summarize here. Cash game quarterback, who you got?
Taysom.
GPP.
Brady.
All right. I will go Kyler Murray in cash or Taysom. I think if you need the savings, then Stafford and GPP for sure for me. Running back.
Foreman, all formats. And keep an eye on Ramondre Stevenson. If Harris is inactive, I really do like him. And if you can get up to JT and GBPs, he's coming in way lower roster than I thought he would be. So my interest is moving up a bit.
Yeah, I would love to find a way to JT. I think in cash for me, it'll certainly be, I don't even know if it's James Conner. I'll go with Foreman for sure, and then GPP Alvin Kamara. Wide receiver.
All in on Cooper Kupp right now. Might
Okay.
switch out a couple for Jonathan Taylor, but I'm all in on Cooper Kupp and that Rams 49ers game. So Kupp is both my cash and GPP wide receiver, and I got to do it for the brand. It wouldn't be a week 18 show without it. I am playing Nico Collins in tournaments.
Let's go.
Got to do it for the brand.
I will go Cooper Kupp, honorable mention Michael Pittman, but my GPP guy, just because the price is Jacoby Myers. Especially if Damian Harris is out and everybody plays Stevenson. That's my leverage. I'm going Jacoby Myers. Tight end.
Gronk and Kittle for me, Bates and cash. But in tournaments, I'm not punting tight end ever. The lowest I'm going is Higbee. I'm going Gronk and Kittle everywhere.
I'm going Kittle and Tyler Higbee. All right. Any last questions? We're good. All right. Good luck. Thank you guys so much for the support this year. We will be doing playoff live streams. I think playoff DFS, especially the first 2 weeks when there's a relatively full slate and a lot of different options. I think that's personally, I think if I look at my stats, that is like my best weeks ever, just because it's a condensed player pool and you kind of just got to get different with 1 or 2 guys. I love those weeks, but yeah, looking forward to seeing everybody next week. Have a great start to your, I guess, first week, full weekend of 2022, and enjoy week 18. And yeah, let's go. Ghost. Any parting words? All right. Good luck, guys.